Hey planner friends! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planning from the 17th to the 23rd of April in my Hemlock Oak weekly. Let's get started! So the kit I'm using this week is Best Friends from Plannerface, and this was from the 2021 Advent Countdown box, so I have so many extra sheets and loads of stuff to play with this week, which is great because this week was super busy. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use my code in the description to save yourselves a little bit of money and also mention me for a freebie. So I wasn't entirely sure what kit I was going to use for this week before I set up the spread. I think I had another one picked out, but I switched to this one firstly because there was so much going on this week and I figured I would need a few extra stickers, and also it's Earth Day this week, so I figured some florals fit pretty nicely. As you may have already guessed by the little bit of my sidebar I've done so far, I am going to be colour blocking this week. So I'm going for pink in my sidebar. I've used a pink Sharpie S-Note, which is actually going to be my theme colour for the month of May, to highlight over the week that we're in the mini calendar in the top left hand corner. And then I have an all pink sidebar. I've also picked out a few passion markers to go with the different colours of the rest of this kit because I'm going to be using one colour on each day of the week. As usual for my Hemlock Oak, I've trimmed about 1 millimeter off the side of each of the date covers before I add them into my planner, so I have that little bit of white space between each of them. And then the date dots that I'm using are just the dates too from Plannerface that I've been using pretty much since I started this planner. Once I've got all of those date dots down, I'm going to carry on with the rest of the base of my spread. So I'm going to add a glitter header under each date cover, and again I've trimmed about 1 millimeter off the side of each of these on the sticker paper before I lay them down. This also sets up my colour blocking colours, so on Monday I'm going to be using all turquoise, on Tuesday all purple, and Wednesday all yellow, and then the same on the second half of the week. On Saturday and Sunday I'm going to take one of the washi strips from the kit that I've cut in half to create two 15mm strips, and lay that over Saturday and Sunday, and then layer the weekend banner from the kit on top of it. I'm then going to divide the vertical planning section from my reflection section along the bottom with another piece of washi that I've trimmed down to 7.5mm thick. As this is a standard vertical kit, I had full washi, so yeah, there's a lot of trimming involved when it came to getting my washi strips right for this spread. I've also done the same thing that I did last week where there's a gradient along the washi, so I have the two bits that are the same colour touching in the middle. For all of my decorative boxes this week, I actually decided that I would trim them both horizontally and vertically on the planner. Usually I take about 1 millimeter off on the sticker paper before I put them down, but I don't know why, for some reason this week I decided to do that all on the planner. I think it's because my craft knife isn't as sharp anymore, so I'm not so worried about cutting straight through my planner page. The decorative boxes from this kit were either florals or fashion girls with like floral clothing, so I've alternated whether I use a floral decorative box or a fashion decorative box on each day of the week where I'm putting a decorative box in. The only days that I'm missing are Tuesday and Saturday. Saturday's always pretty busy because I have a big chunk of the day taken up by team training, and on Tuesday I had a lot of stuff to fit in, so I didn't feel like I had space for a decorative box. I've also tried to match the decorative boxes with the colour that they're going on, so on Monday that day is all turquoise, so most of the decorative box in there is turquoise. Thursday I have a more pink decorative box to go with my pink day, and Wednesday one of the fashion girls is wearing a yellow jacket, so she's on a yellow day. So I'm kind of trying to blend in my decorative boxes with my colour blocking, although it's never going to be exactly perfect. As always, I have the location of these decorative boxes marked out in my iCal in front of me when I'm setting up this spread, and then once I've added in my last decorative box onto Sunday, before I get stuck into my actual plans for the week, I'm just going to remove the glitter header from Wednesday and add in a little thing and a birthday cake doodle from the kit to mark in that it was my friend's birthday this day. Sometimes I have things above the glitter headers that are kind of an overarching thing for the whole day, and sometimes I put them within the column. I think it just depends on how much stuff I have going on that day. Wednesday is going to be pretty jam-packed, but now we can zoom in and start my plans for the week. So firstly on Monday I'm adding in a blob of that turquoise colour and a little stick with the Planco girl on her computer to mark in my checklist for work, and then I'm using an event label with a bit of the floral deco from the kit because I literally didn't know what else to use to mark this, but we had our burglar alarm service this day, so that's what that is marking. I've then used the washing machine doodle from the kit to mark in my to-do list for Monday evening, and then moving on to a very busy Tuesday. I was working from home this day, so I've added in a work from home script from Plannerface over the glitter header, and then this was the first of 2 days this week where we had electricians in, so I'm using an event label from the kit with a little house doodle that's left over from a Plannerface monthly kit to mark that in. On Tuesday I had another portfolio day booked in at work, so I've used a square box from the kit with a Bonilla who's just crying at a stack of paperwork to mark that in, and then I'm marking in my first weight session of the week using a Pinky Stickers printable. I also had a meeting at work this day, so I'm using a little thing from the kit with the laptop doodle to mark that in. For my work checklist on Tuesday, I'm using another Stick with the Planco girl, this time at her laptop because I'm working from home. And then to kind of mark between the end of work and the rest of the evening on Tuesday, I'm using this squiggle, which is from one of the add-on sheets from this kit. I don't have this sort of thing very often, so I figured I would use it to mark the difference between work stuff and home stuff in the afternoon. This kit came with like 2 sheets of extra doodles, so for my to-do list on Tuesday evening I'm using an iron doodle, although I never iron my clothes. And then on Tuesday evening I was going to have a bit of me time, so I'm using a quarter box from the kit with a me time script from Plannerface and another little doodle from the kit. So yeah, Tuesday was a little bit jam-packed. I've basically got no space left to mark anything else apart from whatever I get up to in the evening. So then we can move over to Wednesday, where I'm first marking in that we had the electricians again this day in the same way that I did on Tuesday. They actually came back on Friday, although I had booked 2 consecutive days, so I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But I didn't end up moving it to Friday just because Friday was also kind of jam-packed, so I've just left it where it is. It doesn't really matter in the long run what day the electricians came, it just matters that we now have a light and power in our garage. Next on Wednesday I'm using a quarter box and the book doodle from the kit to mark in what would usually be my usual Wednesday afternoon seminar, but was actually this thing called a grand round this day that I just listened to on Teams. And then I'm also going to squeeze in another little work checklist in the middle there. I tried to match the Lottie's hair with the colour of the day that she was on, so I just went for white on Wednesday because I didn't have a blonde one. On Wednesday evening I'm just using a bit of deco to mark in my evening checklist, and then another Pinky Stickers printable to mark in some stretchy yoga at home. We can then move on to the second half of the week. So on Thursday I was again working from home, so I've used another work from home script from Plannerface, and then I'm using this skinny fancy label and a little clipboard doodle from the kit to mark in another meeting that I had this day. I'm then going to mark in my second weight session of the week, again using a Pinky Stickers printable, and then mark in my checklist for work, again using a Stick with the Planco Lottie at her laptop. I didn't have a pink swirly thing to use like I did on Tuesday, so I'm just using a different paint swatch from that add-on sheet to mark in at the end of work and the beginning of my evening. And on Thursday evening, the main thing that we had to do was take Reggie to the vets for his checkup, so I'm using a chunky fancy label with a little paw print doodle from the kit and a little Reggie from Joy of Planning. Thursday evening's checklist is marked with a little recycling icon from Plannerface, and then we can move on to Friday. So I forgot when I was doing my base that this was payday, so I'm using a skinny event label with some deco and a payday script from Plannerface just above my glitter header to mark that in. Friday was mostly pretty busy because I had a few meetings this day, so the first one that I'm marking in is the one in the afternoon using a little thing with a little bit of deco from the kit, and then I'm using a quarter box with a coffee cup doodle from the kit to mark in our main team meeting in the morning. I could have moved that decorative box to give myself a little bit more space within my work time this day, but I didn't want to, and I managed to squeeze everything in anyway. Although I only had 2 points on this checklist, I actually only ended up doing 2 things apart from meetings all day, so it still worked out pretty well. For Friday evening, I'm just marking in my to-do list with this little sofa doodle from the kit, and then we can move on to Saturday, where I'm first marking in team training in the same way that I usually do, with 2 half boxes layered over the top of each other to take up a big chunk of space. And then because I wanted to make sure I had enough space to fit everything in, I'm adding in a quarter box to mark in editing and recording this voiceover above it, and then a long flag from the kit just above that to mark in that it's Earth Day. Once those are all in, I'm going to go back and add in all of the deco to those boxes. So for Earth Day, I'm using this little paper shire tree sort of doodle, which was honestly the one that I was most concerned about not fitting, and then just a little bit of floral deco for the editing and voiceover, and then a Joy of Planning weightlifting girl for team training. When I get back from team training, I'm going to be doing my planning, so I'm using a flag with a sticker sheet doodle from the kit to mark in my planning time, and then I didn't know how to mark in my to-do list for Saturday afternoon, so I've just used this bowl of ice cream doodle because I wanted to involve it in my spread somewhere. Again, I've gone for a smaller box for whatever we get up to on Saturday evening, so I've just added in that with some deco from the kit, and then I can move on to Sunday where I'm marking in my to-do list with the vacuum doodle from the kit, and then marking in uploading this video using a skinny event label with a little bow from the kit and an upload script from Plannerface. I can then add in my last weight session of the week, and then we can go back in and fill in all of my plans as usual using my Pilot friction pen. So it's been a pretty busy week with all of the tradespeople that we had coming in to sort things in our house and also cracking on with my portfolio work. I'm really happy with how my portfolio is going. I'm hoping to have my first draft done by the end of next week before the bank holiday weekend, which is super exciting because I wasn't even sure that I would be able to get anything done by the end of April, and I feel like I'm actually on track with what I set out to do. Also, getting all of the electrics sorted for our garage project is a massive piece of the puzzle that's all sorted. We've got like 2 or 3 things left to do at this point because we've done all the tidying, we've done all the painting, and now we just get to do flooring and the finishing touches. I don't know if I've mentioned here on YouTube, but a couple of people have guessed what I'm doing, and I'm basically building a little gym setup in the garage because unfortunately it's not feasible for me to go and train with my club every day that I need to train, and my local gym has been really annoying me recently. So I decided to leave that gym. They basically took away some services and I was like, oh, okay, this isn't going to bother me too much. They're not really services that I use. But then they put the prices up as well and I was like, no, I'm not having that. And I think quite a lot of people are in the same boat as me because quite a few of the people that I speak to regularly at that gym are also thinking of leaving or have already left because they've been really crappy about it. So this whole garage is a pretty big investment because like weights are expensive, but it's also something that I've really wanted to do for a long time, and my local gym being rubbish is kind of just pushed me to actually get it done. So the other thing that happened this week was Reggie's vet appointment, and he's doing so well and his vet was really pleased with his progress, so we don't need to take him back for another checkup for 6 months, which I'm so happy about because he doesn't really like going to the vets, and now he's got a lot of his personality back. He's getting a bit spicy about having to go. My weekly focus for this week was the garage project because a lot of the things that were going on for it were happening this week, and I think it's been a pretty good focus for this week. But that is everything for my pre-planning. Let's take a look at the finished spread. So here's the spread all filled out, and you all know that I love a colour blocking spread. These colours just lend themselves so well to colour blocking. I love a bit of pastels and some florals for Earth Day. Although this was a super busy week, I don't think it looks super busy in my planner. It looks like kind of a normal week, but if you look closely, I haven't put the words lazy evening in as much as I normally do. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!